I close the thick history of Salem, Massachusetts, and grip the sides tightly, as if the force might miraculously make the book useful to me. It doesn't work. The dusty old book reveals nothing about the world's dark witch covens, or how I can defeat them. Not even a hint of a mention, just like all the other books I've looked at over the past 2 hours. A growl of frustration wells within me, but I keep it contained. The last thing I want from the other patrons of the Salem Public Library is undue attention. More than ever, keeping a low profile is imperative. I can't have the covens figuring out where I am before I know how to, at the very least, neutralize them, before I confirm I really am a white witch and what exactly that means. I look at my fingertips. Smooth, unmarred skin stares back at me. You'd never know that only days ago I had massive amounts of lightning-like power shooting out of those same fingertips, sending the unsuspecting members of my coven fleeing. I can still feel the thrum of power coursing through my body, like it had when I was standing on that mountain in North Carolina, funneling magic up from the earth through my body and letting it explode into the night. It had frightened me as much as it had my father and other relatives, maybe more. That's why I have to know what it means, how to control it, if it's a good or bad thing. I stand and return the book to the shelf where I found it. When I step between the stacks, I do growl. Well, actually, it's my stomach, reminding me that I haven't eaten in something like 15 hours. As I stare at the shelves of books in front of me, I can't face delving into yet another one right now, not on an empty stomach. I take a moment to rub my tired, burning eyes before I climb the stairs to the second floor to find Egan Byrne, the only other witch in the world I trust. Find anything? I ask, when I find Egan tucked away in a corner working on his laptop. He leans back and stretches. Nothing we didn't already know. He turns sideways in the chair and stares at me. Why am I looking at public records? You know I'm not going to find anything useful. You don't know that. I refuse to believe there isn't the least speck of information that will point us toward something that will help us. Some mention of our families, lore about white witches, details about the formation of the covens, even something that's framed as fiction that might in fact be truth. What if there are no answers for what happened at Shiprock? What do we do then? I think back to the spirit coven that had inhabited the Shiprock outcropping on the side of the mountain above Baker Gap. How many people they'd killed over the centuries, how I'd destroyed them, how I'd then managed to turn myself into a type of magical conduit, lighting up the dark night like the sun. There are answers, I say. We just have to find them. I have to believe that. Movement catches my eye, and I look past Egan to see a librarian looking our direction. When we make eye contact, she smiles. I offer what I hope looks like an easy smile back, then refocus my attention on Egan. When he looks like he might ask another question, I hold up my hand to stop him. Not here. Let's get some lunch. My stomach is about to consume itself. That's the best idea you've had all day, he says, and quickly shuts down his computer and slips it into his backpack. Egan tries to hide it, but I notice him wincing as we descend the stairs. We're a block up the street, heading toward downtown before I mention it. How are you feeling? Fine. You don't have to be all macho about it. You were seriously injured, Egan. You could have died. But I didn't. I can tell by the way he says it that he doesn't want to think about the injuries he sustained during the battle with my coven, or how he'd walked out of that hospital, leaving the only girl he'd ever truly cared about behind, without even a goodbye. A lump forms in my throat. I know how he feels, because he wasn't the only person to leave someone he loved back in Baker Gap. I'm lucky if I can go 5 minutes without thinking about Keller. My greater good reason for being in Salem might be to find a way to make sure the dark covens of the world can no longer hurt anyone, witch or non-witch. But I have a much more personal reason for wanting to be free to live how and where I want. I want more than anything to be with Keller, as I was during my brief time living my dream of being a normal girl. Or as normal as a witch dating a supernatural hunter could get, anyway. I want to be able to hang out and do goofy things with my best friend Tony, who happens to be Keller's cousin, and the girl for whom Egan fell hard. We slip into a sandwich shop at the edge of downtown and place our orders.